All right, get ready to dive deep today, folks, because we're tackling the illusion of needs.
Ooh, sounds intense.
It is. But thankfully, we have a fantastic guide.
Okay, who's that?
Waywat.
Wait, what?
You know, the blogger who breaks down A Course in Miracles?
Oh yeah, the one who makes it feel like an episode of A Course in Miracles meets Cosmos. Super relatable and insightful.
Exactly. And today, we're zeroing in on Chapter 1, Section 6, where things get really, really interesting.
Sounds like we're in for a treat. What exactly are we exploring today?
Well, it's all about understanding how this illusion of needs can actually, shape our lives.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So Watt kicks things off with this analogy of a treasure cave.
A treasure cave. Okay, that sounds promising.
Right. Imagine, stumbling into this cave, and it's packed with gold and diamonds and rubies.
Wow.
You name it, it's there. Every treasure imaginable.
Okay, I'd be pretty happy with that haul.
Right. But here's the catch. In this cave, amidst all this abundance, you're fixated on this one shiny rock, just out of reach.
Oh no, so close, yet so far.
Exactly. And you're convinced that your life is incomplete without it.
I'm starting to see where this is going.
You're surrounded by riches, but all you can think about is that one thing you don't have.
Classic FOMO, right? Like you finally get the latest gadget, but then the new model comes out and suddenly yours feels obsolete. Been there.
Oh yeah, totally. It's like that feeling of never enough. Always wanting more, even when you're surrounded by plenty.
That's such a human experience, isn't it?
Totally. And that, my friend, is the illusion of lack in a nutshell.
So it's not about what we actually possess, but how we perceive ourselves and the world around us.
Bingo. It's like we convince ourselves that something's missing and then boom, that belief becomes our reality.
Makes you wonder how many missing pieces are actually just illusions.
Exactly. So the big question is, how do we break free from this shiny object syndrome?
Yeah, spill the beans. Does Waywat offer a magical solution? Do we need to move to a minimalist commune?
Well, ditching our smartphones is always an option.
Haha. Maybe not for everyone.
Waywat actually points to something much more powerful.
What's that?
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness. Okay, how does that tie into all this?
Think of it like hitting the reset button on those limiting beliefs that make us feel incomplete.
So we're basically forgiving ourselves for believing in the lack in the first place.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we're already whole.
I like that. It's about reclaiming that all-access pass to happiness that we somehow misplaced along the way.
Love that analogy. So instead of chasing after external things to fill the void, we need to remember that we already have everything we need within us.
It's like realizing you've had the winning lottery ticket in your pocket the whole time.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
But how do we actually shift from that feeling of lack to recognizing our own wholeness?
Well, it starts by understanding where that feeling of lack comes from. And Waywat uses this brilliant analogy of a broken mirror.
Broken mirror. Okay, go on.
Imagine a perfect mirror reflecting everything clearly. Then it shatters into 1,000 pieces.
Oof, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, and now each tiny fragment only shows a distorted sliver of the whole picture.
Okay, I'm starting to see the connection here.
Right. We become so focused on those fragmented pieces that we lose sight of the big picture, the inherent wholeness that's always been there.
We're so busy searching for the missing pieces that we forget we were never broken to begin with.
Precisely. And that leads us right into the trap of categorizing our needs, putting some on a pedestal, and dismissing others as less important.
Like those self-help gurus who create pyramids of needs, making us feel like we have to climb this never-ending ladder to reach happiness.
Exactly. I need this first, then that. This is more important than that. But it's all based on this illusion, this fundamental misunderstanding of ourselves as lacking.
So it's not that our needs aren't valid, but that we've gotten caught up in this game of prioritizing and ranking them.
Exactly. And the solution, as Waywat suggests, is integration.
Integration. Intriguing. Tell me more.
It's about putting those fragmented pieces back together, recognizing our inherent wholeness.
So we're talking about ditching the hierarchy of needs and embracing the idea that we already have everything we truly need within us.
That's the ticket. It's like Dorothy realizing she had the power to go home all along. She just needed to remember how to use it.
So we're not lacking. We just need to remember who we truly are.
Exactly. And that brings us to another brilliant point that Waywat makes. It's not enough to simply recognize our wholeness. We need to actively dismantle this shaky structure of levels of need.
Okay, I'm sensing another analogy coming on. Lay it on me.
It's like trying to build a castle on a foundation of sand. It's just not going to be stable.
Makes sense. We can't build a fulfilling life on a shaky foundation.
Right. And to correct that, we need to address the root cause of the instability.
Okay, so where do we even begin?
Well, it all starts with recognizing that this whole idea of dividing needs into higher and lower is an illusion.
Illusion. Okay, elaborate on that.
It's like in those mind-bending sci-fi movies, like Inception, where they're walking on walls and ceilings. Suddenly up and down become relative.
Oh, yeah. Like gravity is just a matter of perspective.
It's a brilliant analogy. Just like in zero gravity, the concept of higher and lower needs only make sense within a specific framework.
So what you're saying is we're imposing this hierarchy onto our needs, but it's not an inherent truth.
Absolutely. It's a product of our perception, not some universal law.
I'm starting to see how this whole illusion of needs can be so pervasive.
It's subtle but powerful, but once we recognize it, we can start to dismantle it. And that brings us to this amazing idea of, rethinking our needs.
Rethinking.
Yeah, it's like Marie Kondoing our beliefs. We ask ourselves, does this belief about what I need actually bring me joy?
Love it. Decluttering our mental space, just like we do with our physical possessions.
Exactly. And as we let go of those limiting beliefs, we create space for something much more beautiful and fulfilling to emerge.
So we've hit the reset button with forgiveness, shattered the illusion of lack, and now we're Marie Kondoing our beliefs.
You got it. It's a total mental makeover.
My mind is officially blown.
And that's just the beginning. We haven't even touched on the power of belief in shaping our reality.
Oh, I was just about to bring that up. It's almost like we have these magic wands, and whatever we focus our belief on becomes our reality.
Right. It's like that fake it till you make it philosophy, but on a much deeper level.
Okay, so if I start believing I can win the lottery, am I going to suddenly become a millionaire? Asking for a friend, of course.
Well, I wouldn't recommend quitting your day job just yet. But the point is, our beliefs have a huge impact on how we experience the world.
It's like when you're a kid and you're convinced there's a monster under your bed. That fear feels so real, even though it's all in your head.
Exactly. Or like believing in Santa Claus as long as you believe, the magic feels real.
I'm still a little scared of the dark, to be honest. But yeah, you're right.
So the key takeaway here is to be mindful of what we're choosing to believe in.
Because what we believe can literally shape our reality.
Exactly. Instead of focusing on what we lack, what if we directed that belief towards something positive and empowering?
Like choosing to watch a feel-good comedy instead of a horror movie before bed. You set yourself up for a more positive experience.
Precisely. And that brings us to probably the most crucial part of Waywatt's take on the illusion of needs.
Oh.
The role of love in overcoming fear.
Okay, this is where things get really deep.
It's like diving into the Mariana Trench of emotions. But Waywatt makes it so understandable with this analogy of a shadow.
A shadow, how does that work?
Think about it. A shadow seems so real, right?
Until you shine a light on it.
Exactly. It's just a trick of perception, and when you illuminate it with light, it disappears.
So fear is like a shadow, and love is the light that dispels it.
That's the idea. Love has this incredible power to dissolve those fear-based beliefs that keep us trapped in the illusion of lack.
Okay, I'm starting to feel like Neo in the Matrix here. Seeing the code and realizing that love is the key to unlocking our true potential.
Love it. But this isn't just about romantic love or even the love we have for family and friends. It's something bigger, more expansive.
Like a universal love.
Exactly, a force that connects us all.
Okay, that sounds pretty powerful.
Yeah.
But how do we actually tap into this all-encompassing love?
Well, it's not about reaching some mystical state of enlightenment. It's about cultivating awareness, recognizing that love is already present in our lives. We just need to tune in.
So it's like finding that perfect radio station amidst all the static. Once you find that clear signal, you can finally enjoy the music.
You got it. And to help us tune in, Waywatt suggests this simple yet powerful test.
A test? I'm intrigued.
Ask yourself, does the thing I fear align with love?
That's a good one. So if the answer is no, it means fear is distorting our perception, right?
Exactly. It's a sign that love is waiting to be revealed, but fear is blocking the signal.
Like that classic Yoda quote, fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
Spot on. By choosing love over fear, maybe we can break free from that cycle of suffering.
Okay, I'm officially on board with this love revolution. But can we do anything to, I don't know, strengthen that connection to love? Or do we just wait for some kind of divine intervention?
Divine intervention is always a possibility, but we don't have to just sit around twiddling our thumbs.
Well, what can we do?
We can practice mindfulness, meditation, gratitude, acts of kindness. These are all ways to align ourselves with the frequency of love.
It's like training for a marathon, but for your heart. The more you practice, the stronger you get.
I like that. It's about creating this positive feedback loop. As we nourish our connection to love, we become more resilient and better equipped to recognize and overcome those illusions that prevent us from experiencing true happiness.
Okay, I'm lacing up my metaphorical running shoes. But before we sprint off towards enlightenment, let's recap what we've learned from Watt's amazing exploration of the illusion of needs.
Sounds good. It's been quite the journey already.
Yeah, we've covered so much ground. But it all comes down to this. The feeling of lack is an illusion, rooted in this belief that we're separate from something bigger than ourselves.
It's not about what's missing in the material world, but about how we see ourselves and our place in the grand scheme of things.
Like that famous line from Jerry Maguire, "You complete me." But instead of searching for external validation, we need to realize that we already have everything we need within us.
And that realization comes from cultivating a deeper connection with love, that force that unites us all and dissolves those pesky illusions of fear and separation.
So it's not about denying our needs, but understanding their true nature and aligning them with that power of love.
Perfectly said. It's a total shift in perspective, from scarcity to abundance.
Recognizing that we live in a universe of infinite possibilities, and true fulfillment is always within reach.
Exactly. It's pretty empowering, right?
Totally. Especially when life throws those curveballs our way. It's like having a secret weapon against negativity.
But you know what? I think we've given our listeners a lot to digest for now. Probably a good idea to pause here.
Yeah, let's give everyone a chance to process all this wisdom. We'll be back soon to continue our deep dive into the illusion of needs. Stay tuned.
Wait, what?
And we're back, still exploring the illusion of needs with our amazing guide, Watt.
You know, before the break, we were talking about the incredible power of love to, totally demolish fear.
Such a powerful concept, right?
Absolutely. But let's get real for a second. How do we actually apply this in, everyday life?
Great question. Because let's face it, sometimes fear can feel like a monster truck headed straight for you.
Oh, yeah, I know that feeling. Like when you're about to give a big presentation and your palms are sweating, heart's racing.
Totally. You're picturing the worst case scenario.
It's like that scene from Bridget Jones's Diary, singing karaoke in a bunny outfit.
Oh, no, not the bunny outfit.
Yeah, not exactly a vision of confidence.
That's when Watt's emphasis on questioning can be so helpful. Remember that test he talks about?
You mean like asking ourselves if what we fear actually aligns with love?
Bingo. It's about shining a light on those fears and really examining them.
So instead of spiraling into what-if land, we hit the pause button and say, hold on, does this fear vibe with the love that I know exists?
Exactly. And often when we do that, those fears start to shrink. Like, those scary shadows in your childhood bedroom?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Turns out they were just clothes hanging on a chair.
It's like the Wizard of Oz. All smoke and mirrors until you peek behind the curtain.
Exactly. But what about this concept of perfect love?
Yeah, it can feel kind of abstract, especially in a world that isn't always so loving.
That's a fair point. But Watt isn't saying we should ignore reality or pretend everything's perfect.
So it's not about putting on rose-colored glasses.
No, not at all. It's more about recognizing that love is the underlying reality. It's always there, even when things are tough.
Like a constant hum beneath the surface of everything.
Exactly. It's like that song from The Lion King, the circle of life. Not always pretty, but there's this deeper harmony at play.
Okay, I see what you mean. And when we tap into that understanding, we can kind of ride the waves a bit better.
Exactly. It gives us this incredible strength and resilience to face challenges with grace and compassion. It's like having a secret superpower.
You might get knocked down, but you know you have the strength to get back up.
And that leads us back to the illusion of needs. When we understand that perfect love is the only true reality, the whole idea of needing something outside of ourselves to feel complete just falls apart.
Like Neo in the Matrix.
Right.
Realizing the world he thought was real was just an illusion. Suddenly, anything is possible.
Love that analogy. It's about waking up to a new reality, one where we're not defined by what we think we lack.
We're free from those chains of illusionary needs.
Exactly. But is there anything we can do to actually, strengthen our connection to this perfect love?
Yeah, besides waiting for divine intervention.
Well, divine intervention is cool and all, but we don't have to just sit around hoping for the best.
So what can we do to get proactive about this?
We can cultivate it, through practice.
Mhm.
Things like mindfulness, meditation, gratitude, even simple acts of kindness can make a huge difference.
So it's like training for a marathon, but for your heart, right? The more you work at it, the stronger you become.
Perfect analogy. It's all about creating that positive feedback loop, nourishing our connection to love so we can see through the illusions.
Okay, I'm ready to hit the ground running. But maybe, before we sprint off into the sunset of enlightenment,
A little recap is in order.
yeah, I think our listeners could use a quick review. We've covered a lot of ground.
True. But to sum it up, it all comes down to this. That feeling of lack we all experience, it's an illusion.
An illusion rooted in this belief that we're separate from, well, everything.
And it's not about what we're missing materially, but about how we see ourselves.
Like in Jerry Maguire, when Tom Cruise says, "You complete me." But instead of looking for someone else to fill that void, we need to realize we already have everything we need within us.
And that realization comes from tapping into that deeper connection with love. The force that dissolves all those illusions of fear and separation.
So it's not about denying our needs, but about understanding them and aligning them with the power of love.
Beautifully put, it's about shifting our perspective from scarcity to abundance.
Recognizing that we live in this universe of infinite possibilities.
Exactly. And true fulfillment is always available to us.
That's pretty amazing, right?
It is. And it's a great reminder that even when life gets tough, we have this incredible power within us.
A secret weapon against all the negativity in the world.
Yeah.
And speaking of this power, this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the wisdom of A Course in Miracles.
Oh, definitely. And Weiwat does an amazing job of making it accessible.
For sure. If anyone's interested in diving deeper, I highly recommend checking out Weiwat's blog or YouTube channel.
It's like a masterclass in personal growth.
Totally. And as always, we encourage everyone to keep exploring these ideas.
Question everything, reflect, and remember, you're not alone on this journey.
We're all in this together, figuring things out, navigating the ups and downs, and sometimes all it takes is a little shift in perspective to transform our whole experience.
A little reminder of that perfect love that connects us all.
Wait, what?
And we're back for the final leg of our deep dive into the illusion of needs.
It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It really has. We've been talking about this idea of lack as an illusion, and it's like, my mind is officially blown.
I know, right? It's like one of those magic eye pictures, You stare and stare, convinced there's nothing there.
And then, boom, the image just pops out.
Exactly. You realize you're looking at it the wrong way the whole time.
It's a total aha moment.
Yeah.
But how do we, take this beyond our personal lives?
What do you mean?
Well, the world can be a pretty messed up place, right? There's so much injustice and suffering.
That's true.
So how does this understanding of the illusion of needs help us address those bigger issues?
That's where things get really interesting. See, a lot of conflict stems from this scarcity mindset.
Scarcity mindset.
Yeah, the belief that there's not enough to go around, whether it's resources, opportunities, or even just basic human dignity.
I see what you mean. Like everyone's fighting over a slice of the pie, even though there's plenty for everyone.
It's like that Black Friday shopping frenzy. Everyone's scrambling for the last discounted TV.
Even though there are probably tons more in the back.
Exactly. We get so caught up in the scarcity mentality that we forget about abundance. And that can lead to all sorts of problems.
So it's like the treasure cave analogy, but on a societal level. We're so busy fighting over scraps that we miss the abundance that's already there.
You got it. And when we buy into that scarcity mindset, we end up perpetuating systems of inequality.
We see each other as competitors rather than collaborators.
Exactly. It becomes this dog-eat-dog world.
But what if we could change that narrative? What if we started seeing abundance as the norm?
That's the power of understanding this illusion. It opens up a whole new world of possibilities. When we see through the illusion of lack, we can start creating systems that benefit everyone.
Systems based on cooperation and compassion, not competition and scarcity.
Precisely. It's like shifting from a me versus you mentality to a we're all in this together kind of vibe.
And that could literally change everything, right?
Absolutely. It's about realizing that true abundance isn't a zero-sum game.
When we act from a place of love and generosity, we create a ripple effect that benefits everyone.
Like that saying, a rising tide lifts all boats.
I love that.
Yeah.
So even in the face of these huge challenges, there's always hope. as
Always.
long as we're willing to see through the illusions that divide us.
And choose love over fear,
It's like choosing to appreciate the beauty of a mosaic.
instead of getting hung up on the little cracks in the tiles.
Exactly. So as we wrap up our deep dive into the illusion of needs, where do we go from here? How do we take all this wisdom and actually live it?
Well, I think Waywat would say, approach life with curiosity and open-mindedness. Keep questioning. Be willing to let go of the belief that no longer serve you.
So it's a continuous journey of self-discovery.
Always. There's always more to learn, more to explore, and more to love.
And remember, we're not finished products. We're works in progress, always evolving, always growing.
It's like those choose your own adventure books.
Oh, I love those.
We get to write our own story.
Make our own choices, shape our own destinies.
And the most important ingredient in that adventure is, you guessed it, love.
Love is our compass, our guiding star.
Love as our ultimate source of strength.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive.
It's been an absolute pleasure exploring the illusion of needs with you all.
We've covered so much ground, from understanding the illusion of lack to discovering the power of love to overcome fear.
And embracing this incredible concept of an abundance mindset.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of exploration and discovery. We hope you've gained some valuable insights along the way.
And remember, the exploration doesn't end here.
Keep questioning, keep learning, keep shining your light, and most importantly, keep loving.
Until next time, happy diving.
Wait, what?